Some time ago I showed you this US President's example, and we used the split view controller, but we didn't finish the full pattern. I told you back then, I think, that there was more to teach you about it, and so let's take an opportunity to go and finish implementing the pattern properly. So you launch the app on an iPhone XS, and it comes up in this mode. We see the detail view controller. To get the master, we click on that back button over there, and we see the master, and now we can select a president. And we pull it up on an iPhone 8 Plus, and we get a very similar view here. A little bit more screen real estate, but anyway. And there's Thomas Jefferson. And now here's a XS Max. And again, the same deal. Basically the same UI, a little more pixels there. Now, what happens when we rotate? So we rotate to landscape, and now we get the side-by-side view, the master and the detail. On the iPhone 8 Plus, same story, side by side. On the iPhone XS, just one view. And I have to hit this back button, and then it overlays the entire display with the master view controller. Okay, now what we're missing over here is we're missing the display mode button item that will let me expand the detail view in the Plus phone size. So maybe on the iPad that isn't such a big deal. Let me show you what the iPad looks like. And let's run the US President's. Let's try the iPad 11-inch. iPad Pro 11-inch. We'll get that firing up. Okay, the recipe that we need to go to the detail view controller, and in the view did load, we have to tell it that, let's see right here, we have to tell it, if we're in the split view controller, would you please supplement the left bar button items, and let's assign over the, here, let me find the recipe in this code here on our slides. This third code slide. This little recipe right here. If we're in a split view controller, supplement the left item that is the left items, supplement the back button, and then assign the left bar button item to be the display mode button item served up by the split view controller. So I'm going to copy that code, and we'll come over here and we'll drop it into our detail view controller. We don't need the comments, so it's just that recipe right there. And now, let's see, have we launched our 11-inch iPad yet? Okay, here it is. Yeah, you see, here's the problem that I identified in the slides. I don't have that display mode button item here that lets me overlay the master view controller. I can swipe from the left to pull it out, but there ought to be a button there telling the user to click the button to display that thing. All right, so if we now do this, let's rerun. Up it comes. And now we have the display mode button item sitting here that shows me, yes, there's something else to look at. I click on that, I see the master view controller, and we can go look at Martin Van Buren, for example. In landscape mode, of course, that goes away. But now back to the phones. So let's rerun, let's try the iPhone XS Max. Rerun there. Up it comes. Okay, now we have the display mode button item that if I click on expands out, and now it will overlay in expanded mode, it'll overlay the master view controller iPad style on top of the detail view controller. Let's see, I'm missing the ability to collapse that again. If I tap on a president, does it? Yeah, there's something else missing here. Okay, I'll dig into that. That's on the iPhone XS Max. What about on the iPhone 8 Plus? Let's see how it runs there. And it won't change the behavior. This code will not change the behavior on a regular iPhone or on a landscape iPad. Okay, so here we are. Yeah. So on the iPhone 8, it's working the way I would expect, but on the XS Max, there's some difference because of that overlay mode like the iPad, and I think I need to look into that and see if there's something else I ought to do to the recipe here for the iPhone XS Max. Anyway, next time, what we'll do next time in class, we'll teach you about how to deal with the UI split view controller delegate. And what happens is, see, as I rotate between landscape and portrait, which view ought to be showing up? They're choosing to show the detail, but what if I think master ought to be the one showing up? There's a way to override that behavior, and you have to do that in the split view controller delegate. So that's the last little part of the recipe that we need to learn about split view controllers.